Alright, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking, what the hell is this? So we got Chimpact here, and for our week 2 CPC match, we're going to be facing Team Monkey, Team Harambe here. And hopefully we scoop up this win. So this is not just going to be a team builder. This is going to be a team builder. This is going to be a how-to team builder. And unfortunately, Chimpact is unlucky enough to have to face me. So yeah, we're going to be jumping in right into the team builder. So I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, this is a tactic, a strategy that I use every single time that I team build. And you might watch, some of your favorite PokeTubers, guys like in the UCL, they kind of assume what 6 mons do I think my opponent's going to bring, and that's not the worst strategy, but that's something that is going to be considered maybe way down the line, and it's almost irrelevant. The mindset really should be, you need to prepare for every single one of your opponent's mons, and if they don't bring that certain mon, that means they don't have certain things. So for example, the very first thing that you need to consider are, who is his Hazard Games? Hazard Games is very important, especially in this matchup, because he has a Charizard Y. So first and foremost, let's look at all of his forms of hazards in general. So he has only 2 ways to get up Stealth Rocks, being Excadrill and Hippowdon. So odds are, if he brings Hippowdon, that's most likely going to be his Stealth Rock user. Another thing is, if he only brings Excadrill and doesn't bring Hippowdon, he's probably going to have Stealth Rocks on his Excadrill. And if he doesn't bring Excadrill or Hippo, that means I know for a fact he cannot get up Stealth Rocks. Other forms of hazards is he has a form of getting up Spikes with his Chestnut. He has Toxic Spikes with his Cofagrigus, and he has Sticky Webs for Leavanny. So we're going to be looking at my team just for a second here. I actually do not have Aerodactyl and Polian quite yet. Yes, spoilers, next week I will have these mons, but for right now I have a Roserade and a Crobat. So the Crobat I am going to bring, and the Roserade can absorb the Toxic Spike. So just something to consider when we're going to be looking at the building here in a second. The next thing that I want to do is, alright, because he has a Charizard Y, if I get up Stealth Rocks on his side of the field, how is he going to remove it? He only has 2 ways to remove it, and that's Excadrill and Salamence. And so if he is defogged on Salamence, odds are, because Salamence can do many different things. It can be physical, it can be special, it can be Dragon Dance, it can be bulky, toxic, Wish Protect. Token Minorities knows what that's all about. And so the thing with Salamence though is it only has 4 different moves. So if it has something like a Defog, it's not going to have something like a Dragon Dance. And even if it does have Dragon Dance, it's not going to be able to it's trying to do too many rolls, and it won't be able to sweep. So now we're going to be diving in on his win conditions. It's more so I want to focus on what I can lose to, opposed to more standard sets. So his Excadrill is something late game sand offense. So I need to prepare for late game sand offense, and it does have access to Swords Dance. Salamence has Dragon Dance. I gotta watch out for the physical Dragon Dance set, or even mixed Dragon Dance, but we'll look on later on that. Slowbro has access to Trick Room and Calm Mind, but Calm Mind's going to be probably a little bit scarier, because if it gets up a Calm Mind, it's going to be very, very hard to kill. Chestnut, it has access to Belly Drum, so I need to prepare for Belly Drum Chestnut. Next is Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat isn't a win con unless it's, scarfed and it can somehow outspeed and kill my team. Next is Cofagrigus. It has access to Trick Room and Nasty Plot. Zoroark has 2 forms of setup, being Swords Dance and Nasty Plot, so I gotta figure out if it's physical or special, and I gotta kind of work around there. Leavanny, it supports its team by getting up Sticky Webs. It can make everything else a potential win con. Lilligant can be a Quiver Dance sweeper, but it can also support the rest of his team by having access to Sleep Powder. Helps the team alongside with Healing Wish. So this is a win con in the sense of if his win con originally was going to be Salamence and I was able to burn it or status Salamence and get it really low. If he has the Lilligant in the back, he can Healing Wish back up his Salamence. So I gotta really consider that. And Charizard Y, it's a win con in the sense of it clicks Fire Blast and it's very hard to switch into. So this is gonna be the basic team, what I need to prepare for first and foremost, and then we'll kind of work around from there. The first mon I decided to put on my team is Mega Houndoom. The reason why is he does not have a defensive switch into Mega Houndoom because one, it hits his whole team for neutral damage here. The only thing that can take a +2 Mega Houndoom hit is going to be his Hippowdon if it's fully specially defensive, and it does get rid of the Sun for me. If Charizard sets up the Sun, I can potentially revenge it and just start nuking his team. Like the Sun actually helps the Mega Houndoom here. I get the outspeeds on his whole entire team. The only things that can outspeed the Mega Houndoom is something like a Scarf Salamence, a Scarf Rotom, a Scarf Exca, and other than that, like and Excadrill in the sands. But so Excadrill is probably a definite must come. Because of that, because he doesn't have a very good defensive check. Or he can run 2 different berries. He can run a Aka berry on his Chestnut, or he can run a Colbur berry onto his Slowbro here. So definitely got to watch out for that. And so we're going to be looking at this last move here is Protect. So I had a couple different options here. And so the reason why I decided I'm going to run Protect is it does a lot for me. It stalls 1 turn or potentially 2 turns if I need it to get the double Protect. He has Sand, he has Tailwind with Salamence, he has Trick Room with Slowbro and Trick Room with Cofagrigus, and things like that. And the last potential thing that Protect can also do is if I need to get the outspeed on Charizard. So Charizard, if he's timid max speed, initially gets, and I expect him to be timid, because I can run, Jirachi with, Ancient Power or something like that. And so Charizard being modest, I don't think it really helps him too much. It doesn't really ensure any 2 KOs, and it just means that he's outsped by Landorus, by Jirachi, by the Houndoom before it Megas, his Roserade. So he's going to run Jolly, right? So if I run Protect and I damage the Mega Charizard Y a little bit, I can knock it out with the Dark Pulse here. Fire Blast and Dark Pulse, because it's in the Sun, it does they do the same amount of damage. I could have ran a couple different moves like Sucker Punch, or let's see, let's look at the move pool, right? So the optimal coverage here is I need a Dark Pulse and I need a Fire Blast. Why did I need Fire Blast here? Well, Dark Pulse is going to be my main stab that I'm clicking versus his team. There's only Dark Pulse switch-ins are going to be Chestnut and Zoroark that both get one shot by Fire Blast. And Fire Blast does basically I need Fire Blast for the Hippo. It does get the one shot on the Zoroark, and there's no reason to go Flamethrower, because if I'm going to be clicking Dark Pulse the majority of the time and only going to be clicking Fire Blast in very specific scenarios, Flamethrower isn't going to help me. And I have to, unfortunately risk the miss, but the extra damage output is going to be very important here. Nasty Plot for potential sweeping. This is going to be my win con if I get rid of the Sand, and I could have ran, some things like Flame Charge. What Flame Charge does for me is it kills the Leavanny or Lilligant, and then I get the +1. And Excadrill might not have enough speed. If he's not max speed Excadrill, I might be able to outspeed the Excadrill out of Sands. I could have ran, let's see, what else? Pursuit. I mean, that's kind of weird. Well, it doesn't really help me too much. I could have ran Shadow Ball or Solar Beam. That ensures if he is Colbur Berry on Slowbro, I do have, I set up a Nasty Plot and then I kill it with the Shadow Ball here. Taunt, Willow would have been pretty good here too, because I could have burned the Hippo, and if it's like fully specially defensive, that can take 2 Fire Blasts, and if I were to Will-O-Wisp it on the switch, now I can actually set up on it and then kind of go from there. The next mod that we're going to be bringing here is, look at this, God set is Azumarill. So if you look at the standard Azumarill set, so if you ignore this real quick, the standard Azumarill set, and I can belly drum versus a lot of different things. I can technically belly drum versus if he does bring the Hippo, if he does bring the Slowbro, or his defensive mons to kind of switch into a banded, because I can bring banded Azumarill, right? His only banded Azumarill switch-ins is Slowbro kind of and Cofagrigus. That's it. There's no other switches, because Aqua Jet, Waterfall, Play Rough still does a ton. Play Rough, Waterfall, it can kind of take a hit. Play Rough, Waterfall, right? It pretty much one-shots the majority of his team. But what Belly Drum does for me is it ensures a guaranteed victory in my eyes. Because, alright, let's say if I was standard Belly Drum Azumarill, right? And if I was huge power. If I were to set up a +6, I can +6 Aqua Jet kills that, +6 Aqua Jet kills the Hippo. Salamence can't really touch me, and I can Play Rough it. The Slowbro gets one shot by Play Rough. The Chestnut gets one shot by Play Rough. I can Aqua Jet the Rotom. Cofagrigus gets one shot by the Play Rough, but it does get rid of my huge power. Zoroark I can one shot with Aqua Jet. I can one shot the Leavanny with Play Rough, and Aqua Jet kills the Charizard. So a couple things that you do notice though is the Lilligant, the Leavanny, and the Chestnut. These are 3 things that can potentially stop my Azumarill sweep. So I 100% like there should be no reason why. Like, I think you're in a position, Chimpact, that you actually need to bring these 3 mods. One of the 3, because 1, they do have Cleric for your team initially, and 2 is that Chestnut actually does outspeed the Azumarill, right? And so you outspeed, so I can't Play Rough you, and I can't even speed creep you, because you can get the outspeed on Chestnut, and you can one-shot me with a Wood Hammer. Same thing with Lilligant and Leavanny. They can outspeed, they can take a +6 Aqua Jet, and they can kill me off with the Grass type move. So I opted to decide I'm going to go Sap Sipper here, because I'm going to predict Chimpact to predict, well, because he needs to prepare for Belly Drum Azumarill, right? Because, or else you literally lose. So this set is, so even if Chimp has a stroke or whatever and doesn't even bring those mons, you know, I have to expect the most from Chimp. Even if he doesn't bring those mons per se, this Azumarill set does still put in the work. There's actually nothing that actually beats this Azumarill set if I am able to set up a +6 Belly Drum, if I'm able to get a Toxic off on the Slowbro. Now, +6 Play Roughs are, it's not doing quite enough to Slowbro to 2-hit KO, but if I were able to, if he's specially defensive, then it 2 KOs. And he could be especially defensive like Colbur to deal with the Houndoom or whatever. Colbur Berry, Slowbro also checks Banded Azumarill with like knockoff or whatever, but if I'm specially defensive, what this entails is I can deal with the Charizard, right? So this is so the Azumarill, it's a Charizard check. It walls the Leavanny, walls the Lilligant. So if Lilligant tries to set up and tries to sweep, it cannot do so, or avenge me. Zoroark, even if Zoroark were to burn this or whatever, I have Rest, and I can start wearing down the Zoroark here if it doesn't have Play Rough. It 1v1s that. Azumarill +6 Aqua Jet kills the Rotom. Chestnut can't touch me. Once again, I need to get a Toxic off on the Slowbro. Salamence, because I'm so bulky and I have Rest, I can take out the Salamence. I can live any hit from Salamence and then just Play Rough it. The Hippo gets 2-hit KO'd by Aqua Jet, and Exeggutor gets 2-hit KO'd by Aqua Jet. So once again, I emphasis, Toxic on Slowbro is needed. Next is going to be the Landorus. I actually have no stab moves. I don't have Fly, I don't have HP Flying, I don't have Earthquake on this Landorus. I know Fly and HP Flying is kind of weird, but like he has a Chestnut and other grass types, so it's not like out of the question. So once again, next level shit here, right, is he could bring a air balloon or magnet rise on Excadrill. And I actually need to run max defense on the Landorus because this Landorus does defensively check a lot of different things. It defensively checks Dragon Dance, Salamence, and his Sand offense. And it also gets up rocks. That's why it's very important, and that's why it's on my team. These EVs allow me to live 3 Adamant, Life Orb, Iron Heads from Excadrill. And I can one-shot the Excadrill with the superpower. I don't have to risk Excadrill being a set. I don't have to risk him being Air Balloon. I don't have to risk him being Magnet Rise because it's quite obvious that Landorus is going to check the Excadrill. It's, you know, team building 101. The Stone Edge is here to hit the Rotoms, but most importantly the Charizard, and that's very good. And Toxic, most importantly, Stone Edge is for the Salamence. This spread is, if I get up Stealth Rocks, Stone Edge is a guaranteed kill on the Salamence. And last move I decided I could have brought, you know, Fly or HP Flying or something like that, but I opted to go for Toxic. Now he could bring a defensive Spikes, Rocky Helmet, Chestnut here, and just like defensive mons in general, but like Toxic, once again, his only immunity to Toxic is Excadrill, and Landorus walls to Excadrill, so I get pretty much a free Toxic onto anything, and once again, I need to get a Toxic off onto the Slowbro, and if it does, I win with the Azumarill. So as you can see here, and I would end, okay, so Pasho Berry, right? Pasho Berry is the berry to reduce water types attack. I know you're looking at this and you're like, what in the hell? Why does he have Pasho Berry? Pasho Berry does a number of different things. So Rocky Helmet makes the most sense, right? Is because if he only brings spin on Excadrill, I punish the spin with Rocky Helmet. Or if he has, you know, physical Salamence, I can Rocky Helmet, Stone Edge, Salamence. But the thing is Rocky Helmet does nothing for me. Because I already one-shot the Excadrill. I already one-shot the Salamence after rocks. I do not, and the reason why I'm doing the calcs after rocks is because he can, because Salamence has to pretty much take rocks damage if it is his defogger or whatever. Which I actually do decide, because if he is not defog immense and he's Rapid Spin Excadrill, I get up rocks with Landorus, and every single time he goes Excadrill, I just go into Landorus and I set up the rocks. And every single time, yeah, so once again, he goes Excadrill, I go Landorus, set back up the rocks every single time he spins. So rocks are always going to be up, and even if he spins on my Landorus for whatever reason, I just superpower and kill him, right? So I always ensure rocks up on his side of the field once I get them up. And if he's defog Salamence, he could actually bring Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump, if he's like defensive Salamence or whatever, or even Life Orb, right? These defense EVs allow me to actually take a Draco after rocks. I can live a Hydro Pump, so I can take a Life Orb Hydro after rocks. I can take a Life Orb Draco after rocks. I can literally take any move in Salamence's move pool after rocks and kill it with the Stone Edge or get up rocks or whatever. Yeah, and these EVs once again allow me to take 3 hits from Iron Heads from the Excadrill. So next is my Licky Licky. The reason why I decided to bring Licky Licky is a lure. So when Chimpack looks at my team, historically, you know, I've watched a lot of Chimpack's matches in the GB8, and he thought, you know, his versus Old Man Tup, he was like, oh, well, obviously he's going to bring Licky with Cloud9 to deal with my Kingdra. So he's going to do the same exact method probably with his Charizard Y. He's going to see Licky, he's like, oh, well, obviously that's going to be his Charizard Y check. And it's not, because I have, obviously I do have Cloud9. That's the whole reason, because Fire Blasts aren't doing enough because of my ability. But it's actually a lure. This Licky beats his defensive Mons if he decides to bring him. So I think it's a must bring to bring Hippowdon, because he has no other way to get up Rocks bar Excadrill. Rocks Excadrill is just bad. And so because he's gonna bring Hippowdon, because he's gonna bring probably Slowbro, or just these bulky Mons in general, I can take advantage of those, and I can actually set up a sub. So we're gonna be looking at the damage calc real quick here. So this is my spread. Yeah, that's Cofagrigus. The only way that Cofagrigus can break my sub if he is HP fighting. But we look at something like Hippowdon, Mixed Wall or whatever. Earthquake does a max of 24.9, does not break the sub. We look at Slowbro, which is once again very annoying for my team. And I can also get rid of the Cold Berry with if he is Cold Berry on Slowbro, I can just knock it off, whatever. Scald does not break the sub. Psyshock does not break the sub. He needs Psyshock because I have Roserade. So I set up a sub versus these bulky Mons, and I set up a sub, I set up a Sword Stance, and I start like OHKOing his team. It's crazy. It's a pretty cool set. And hopefully it works. So next is my Dragonair. Dragonair, it's actually EV'd to, if he is timid Charizard Y, he cannot 3-hit KO my Dragonair unless he gets 3 max rolls on Dragon Pulses or Focus Blast or whatever. He has to get 3 max roll. He has to hit all of his moves. He's like Focus Blast, and if he's like Dragon Pulse, he has to hit all. Well, obviously he's gonna hit all 3 Dragon Pulse, but he needs absolute max roll in order to 3-hit KO me. But it's fine because I have reliable recovery in Rest, and generally you'd think, oh, Rest is shit recovery, but it's not, because I have Shed Skin. It has a 33% chance of getting the instant recovery, and I also have Sleep Talk. And once again, he has nothing for Toxic or Excadrill. And if I get Dragon Tail damage off onto the Charizard, we'll kind of go into that. But Dragon Tail does about 20% to the Charizard, which is going to be very, very, very important damage. So, our move pool is, yeah, Dragon Pulse, or Dragon Tail, Toxic. Toxic, once again, very important to get a Toxic off onto the Slowbro, or his Chestnut, or his bulky Mons. Dragonair walls his Rotom, 100%, walls his Charizard, his Lilligant, if he starts quivering up or whatever. I have Shed Skin, I have Sleep Talk, and I can phase it out, I can Toxic it. If he has Leavanny, I mean, it kind of walls Leavanny, but I don't want to get like knocked off or whatever. But Dragonair, yeah, it matches up very, very well versus this team too. So once again, I have a Charizard check, I have a Leavanny check, I have a Lilligant check. Zoroark, another thing, because he's going to bring special Zoroark because he has to, because, well, if he does bring Zoroark, because why would he bring physical? Because I'm going to bring a physically offensive or physically defensive Landorus. I'm going to have, you know, the Azumarill that walls like nothing on Zoroark's move pool, hits Azumarill other than Sludge Bomb, so he needs special for Sludge Bomb. What else? Houndoom, he needs Focus Blast for Houndoom, so that's also another thing with Azumarill, is if he is Nasty Plot Zoroark and he starts trying to do massive, you know, damage to my team, I can take I can take a +2 Sludge Bomb with the specially defensive investments, and I can knock it off with Play Rough plus Aqua Jet. So between my specially defensive walls, I can deal with the special Zoroark. So the last mon I decided to bring was the mon that's kind of what's gonna glue this team together, right? So Landorus walls, the Excadrill, Hippo might, well, he's probably going to have HP Ice, or excuse me, he's probably going to have Ice Fang on his Hippo. I expect him to have Ice Fang on his Hippo, right? Is because Earthquake hits everything, and Ice Fang is able to get the damage off for Excadrill onto the Landorus, and Ice Fang also hits the Roserade. And yeah, I mean, Ice Fang is his best coverage in my opinion. I mean, he could, carry Stone Edge for whatever God knows reason, but or Crunch did the Mismagius, but the Mismagius is also a decent bring because it does get pretty cool moves. But anyways, I decided to bring. I almost brought Choice Banded Crobat. When I initially built the team, I had Choice Banded Crobat for a Quiver Dancing Lilligant here, because if I'm Choice Banded, I can have Sleep Talk, I can have a little bit more coverage offensively, like I can have Brave Bird, U-Turn, Poison Move, or I mean other cool things too, maybe Facade or whatever. I don't know, something to hit the Rotom. And Brave Bird, if I was Choice Banded, is very, very good versus this matchup too, because I ensure a one-hit KO onto the Charizard and the outspeed. But I decided, you know what, I'm not gonna go Choice Banded because he does have the Hippo. Like, he's never gonna keep his Charizard in on a Crobat. So, and because he's got Slowbro and Hippo, so I'm thinking, all right, well, there's no point in going Choice Banded here, and I can also go Choice Band Defog as well, because I don't need Crobat to wall anything. I have defensive checks for everything, and Choice Banded Brave Bird also is potentially able to knock out the Salamence as well. But I decided, you know what, I'm just going to have Adamant Sharpbeak. Once again, this Crobat outspeeds this whole entire team. Brave Bird does a ton of damage, except to the Rotom and the Hippo. But Defog is able to get rid of the potential Sticky Webs. I'm mostly afraid of, if anything, is Sticky Webs, because Sticky Webs is his only way to deal also with the Houndoom. So I decided, even though I like hazards on his side of the field, I decided I'm just gonna opt just to have Defog on here. U-Turn is going to help me with the Zoroark, right? So if I'm able to get up, if I'm able to get any, if I'm able to, either get up Stealth Rocks or any chip damage on the Zoroark, I already know who the Zoroark is, or chip damage on anything on his team. Zoroark is horrible when he drafted, because Chimpact drafted horribly. Because he has Sand. Sand affects Zoroark, so he's gonna take chip damage with Sand, right? So obviously, I think if he's gonna bring Zoroark, it's gonna be his lead, because if I get up Rocks, then I already know who the Zoroark is, because Excadrill only takes like 3% from Rocks. This takes 6% from Rocks. This takes 25% from Rocks. That'd be weird to hide Zoroark as Slowbro, but Slowbro also gets regen. Chestnut takes 6% from Rocks. This takes 25% from Rocks, etc. 25% from Rocks, 50% from Rocks. So if I get up Rocks, I know who Zoroark is. And that's kind of the plan. And if I also have U-Turn here, that also helps to U-Turn into the Houndoom and just start blasting his team offensively with Houndoom. So that's kind of the thought process here. So this is the team. There's a lot going on, and I prepared for a lot of different things, right? I prepared for so many different crazy sets, right? So more sets that you can even imagine, right? I was even considering, what if he brings Dragon Dance, Charizard Y, with like Flare Blitz and Dragon Claw to overwhelm my Landorus to late game sweep with my Excadrill. I prepared for just a lot of weird sets. I checked all HP Ice Excadrill or Magnetize Excadrill. I did a lot of prep versus this. So even no matter what happens versus Chimpact, I hope everybody learns from this team builder. This is how I team build for something this is a finals team type of build. I decided, you know what, I really wanted to show my audience how to team build, and I hope you guys liked it. Hopefully I can get this win versus Chimpact. Until next time, I'm signing out, guys. Peace!